What's up, guys? Drake Elliott Fitness here, www.drakeelliottfitness.com. And today I just want to talk about how to build muscle. How to build muscle 101. No secrets, a little bit scientific, So let's go on and get into this. Uh, these are just some key ways on really how to build muscle effectively. Keep that in mind. So, let's start off with progressive overload. Progressive overload means placing more and more stress on the muscle and overloading it so it'll have a reason to grow. Your body is not gonna build more muscle if you're not stimulating it enough to build more muscle. Our bodies don't want to build muscle. That's the last thing our bodies are actually thinking of, is actually building more muscle. So we have to make it. You gotta force muscle to grow. So if I bench press 200 pounds on the bench press this year, not saying I do that, that's not, you know what I mean. So if a person bench presses 200 pounds this year, and the next year they're still bench pressing 200 pounds for the same amount of reps, you're not progressively overloading that muscle and weight wise like that. So that's just something to keep in mind. You just need to basically just keep on adding more weight to the bar, making things a little bit difficult. Keep on either, adding more reps, which I'll get to that later, or lower a controlled negative of the movement. So on the way down on a bicep curl, it's called the negative. On the way up, it's positive. So if you lower the weight down with more control, that's putting more force on the muscle, but that's a different video altogether. So progressive overload, keep that in mind. Constantly strive for more, lifting heavier and such. So another thing I want to get into is the rep ranges for building muscle, the best rep range for building muscle. Not saying it's the only rep range you can have for building muscle, but it's very effective and it's a good pinpoint on where to start. 6 to 12 reps. Why 6 to 12 reps? Generally, 1 to 5 reps is considered for muscular strength, not necessarily building more muscle fibers. Muscular strength, called myofibrillar hypertrophy. Okay, stay with me, guys, but that's what 1 to 5 reps is called, myofibrillar hypertrophy, which basically means a growing of the actual myofibrils, which makes up a muscle, rather than making it bigger. So that's 1 to 5 reps. 6 to 12 reps is really the muscle building range, and anything higher than 12 reps, which would be, you'll obviously be using a lighter weight, would be like for more endurance type exercises. So 6 to 12 rep scheme is a really good scheme for actually building that muscle. So how you would incorporate into a program is where you pick a weight that you can do it for 6 reps. That's it's hard from the start. And then over weeks, you go to 7, 8, 9, 10 reps. It's getting easier. You're able to perform more reps. And by the time you get to the 12th rep, the weight is lighter than obviously it was for the 6th rep. And that's time for you to move on to a little bit heavier weight that's difficult for 6 reps. And then you just repeat the process. That's how you build muscle in that rep scheme. And it's just 6 to 12 reps is also a great rep scheme for building type 2 muscle fibers. Type 1 is endurance type muscle fibers, and type 2 is an explosive burst, and better for building muscle. That's energy pathways. I don't really want to get into that. That's part of the training, that the trainer has to go through to learn that. But the energy pathway is oxidative, and then the ATP CP pathway. But I'm not gonna get into that, guys. I'm not gonna try to confuse y'all. But 6 to 12 rep scheme is good for that type of muscle. So the fast twitch muscle fibers. But okay, moving on to the next thing. I'm gonna talk about calories and protein intake. Calories, flat out, you're not gonna grow unless you put in enough calories over your TDEE, which you may have seen from my other video, total daily energy expenditure. You know, if you're not providing yourself with enough nutrients, enough protein to build that muscle, you're not going to grow. You're not going to gain weight. It's just not going to happen. You know, you got to give your body more. You got to, all that weight training in the gym, provide your body with more. It's okay if you gain weight. Gaining weight is not bad. Gaining weight can mean gaining muscle mass, you know. That's what you want. So don't be afraid to gain weight in order to get bigger muscles, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know, I'm just trying to gain, but I'm not really as extremely, you know, lean or shredded as I used to be. I'm still lean, but I'm not, you know, a few striations, I'm not seeing them quite anymore, you know, but I'm obviously in still great shape. But you got to raise those calories, guys, and then you can just cut later on. So, very important. Don't be afraid to gain weight. So, another thing you want to keep in mind is the compound lifts when building muscle. You know, your compound lifts are your major exercises that you are doing, that you should be doing. And if you follow my programs, you will be doing, you know, to build the most muscle, you know. These are your bench presses, your overhead presses, your squats, your deadlifts, things of that nature that's really gonna get your testosterone flowing, you know, get your growth hormone up, your natural GH up, and these are just your major mass builders, the big compound fundamental lifts. I can't say enough about them, guys. You know, they're great exercises, and it's great for building muscle, you know. So obviously you're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck in doing a bench press than you would a tricep extension. Not saying the tricep extensions are bad; they're good for what they're used for. But what I'm saying is compound lifts build more muscle than isolation lifts. You know, so that's just simple. And guys, these are the major things. You know, progressively overload that muscle. Use a 6 to 12 rep scheme. It's great for for the muscle building range. Make sure you get your nutrition, your proper calories in. Make sure you're eating enough to grow, you know, and make sure you're doing the compound lifts to really force growth and to really put you in the orbit with gaining muscle, guys. So, I mean, it's not really that hard. I will say some body types, sorry guys, but anyway, I will say some body types build more muscle quicker. You know, I may be that body type, but you know, you hear about the mesomorph, the ectomorph, and then the endomorph, with the mesomorph being, you know, the better body type to stay leaner and build muscle. Then you hear about the endomorph, who builds muscle quickly, but also has a hard time losing the fat, or naturally has more fat. Then you hear the ectomorph, which is the hard gainer, who struggles to put any weight on, muscle or fat, you know. So I mean, you can sort of believe in that, but we're all different mixed up, you know. So, you know, these are just the major things that you need to remember when building muscle. And you'll get great results doing this. And like always, if you need any help on that, www.drakeelliottfitness.com. My workout plans are great. Nutrition is great. I get great results, as do my clients. So, thank you. Goodbye. Drake Elliott Fitness signing out.